let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. Well, in other words, darling, kiss me. Well, fill my heart with song and let me play forevermore. For it's you I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, darling, please be true. Well, in other words, darling, I love you. Won't you fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars? Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. Darling, won't you say in other words, won't you kiss me? Well, won't you fill my heart with song and let me play forevermore? For it's you I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, baby, please be true. Baby, in other words, you know that I love you. Well, fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. Baby, in other words, oh, come on and kiss me. Oh, won't you fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore? For it's you I long for, all I worship and adore. Oh, in other words, baby, please be true. Baby, in other words, I you.
Good morning. Welcome to our service for Sunday, October 24th, 2021. And man, this month has zoomed. From those of us here in person to those of you viewing online, we welcome you wholeheartedly and value you for your presence. We connect with the glory of God and our own purpose through passion. Let us inspire each other as we boldly express our divinity in this new and forever changed world. How can we bless and express this different life, which has been born out of great upheaval? We may never be the same, and yet, can we be better? Let's explore these thoughts together today. And now let us join with our beloved Julie Reagans, who's returned to us. Stephen Schoen has returned to us as we sing our welcome song together. And you may stand if you'd like.
Love lives in me, love moves through me, love expresses as me. Now love lives in me, love moves through me, love expresses as me. Love lives in me, peace lives in me, peace expresses in me. Well, peace lives in me, peace moves through me, peace expresses as me. Joy lives in me, joy moves through me, joy expresses as me. Well, now joy lives in me, joy moves through me, joy expresses as me. Yeah. Power lives in me, power moves through me, power expresses as me. Yeah. Well, power lives in me, power moves through me, power expresses as me. Me as me.
Good morning, everyone. Please join me as we affirm our statement of faith together. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And now let us unite our spirits as we hold this vision for our church. We are an open-hearted, spiritual community, powerfully transforming our world by honoring the sacred in all. And we practice this mission. Inspired by our shared spiritual awakening, we offer practical teachings that empower healthy, abundant, and meaningful living. All right, today's daily word for Sunday, October 24th, is passion. And the affirmation is, my purpose fuels my passion. Purpose sets my heart aflame with passion. Each day I awaken, ready to answer the call of my heart, to give my best efforts and fullest attention to purposeful activity. Passion is the energy I bring to everything I do. I discover the glory of God through passion. As I do the things that make me feel the most alive, that fill me with energy and zeal, and color the world with hope and promise, I recognize the divine presence behind it all. God is the source of all the passion I feel and the purpose that drives me. My passion is not for me alone. The life energy that radiates from me inspires those around me to live a life of purpose and passion, to boldly express their divinity as only they can. And from 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 11, whoever speaks must do so as one speaking the very words of God. Whoever serves must do so with the strength that God supplies. And now, with our gathering prayer, Jan Govain.
Good morning. It's great to see some faces I haven't seen in a while. I'm glad you're here today. So this will be a little longer prayer than I usually do, but it's what happened. So I am from Rumi. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. And if you'll pray with me, these are sacred words in unity. We are called to listen and respond to them. It is a central and essential knowledge of our spiritual pathway. When something new is calling us, our wisdom is not afraid to look inside and see what needs changing there. Let us always be guided by the path of our heart's wisdom to support an awakened world that knows love and love alone is all there is. We can choose a path of non-change, the old familiar ways of living, which leads us right back to the limiting beliefs of yesterday. Or we can choose, make a new decision, to take a new path to a life of expansion. Let it begin with me in taking refuge in the new and be guided by the wisdom of my heart to invoke a greater opening to a truer truth. As I think with love, I co-create with God a space of miraculous breakthroughs. In this place, I rest with a deeper sense of peace, a softness in my heart, and here I am lifted up. Humans do not just conceive children, we conceive new civilizations. We are pregnant with new possibilities, which have come from our teachers, which I call potholes. We gestate new ideas. We labor to bring forth the changes within ourselves. It is how life works. Once labor has begun, what's inside us must come out. Many of us feel pregnant with something new in our lives, as though something is struggling to be born, though we're not quite sure what it is. It may not be entirely comfortable when we're going through it. It might even feel terrifying at times. But life is change, and it is simply taking its course. This is happening within us and to all of us collectively. Yes, we are pregnant with something new. In the days ahead, are you willing to apply more things that we intellectually understand, perhaps, but know in our hearts we haven't fully yet integrated into our core of who we are in creating this new world? A new world could be started by forgiving someone. It could be dropping our obsession about the past. It could be releasing the future. It could be trying to live more fully in the present. It could be making a serious effort to be kinder, more loving, and compassionate, or to listen better, or to be more aware of the feelings of others. It could be a healthier lifestyle. It could be meditating, praying for others. It could be developing a more generous spirit. I trust the universe to create through my ever-increasing dimensions of peace and joy as I labor with new ideas, and so it is.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breezes drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Rivers running free, You know how I feel. Blossoms on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out on the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, you know what I mean. This world's a new world, it's a no world, bold world for me. Yeah, stars when you shine, you know how I feel. The scent of the pines, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new it's a new dawn for me. Oh, 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 for me. Thank you.
It's good to hear your voice again, Julie. It really is. Thank you. So I have a lot of big topics to talk about this morning, if you're ready. Are you ready? Okay, good. Okay, I have kind of a strange example, but just stick with me here. Yesterday I was out at the F1 race to see the qualifying race for today's final. It was really exciting, and I love to watch fast cars, so there you have it. And then after the concert was after the race was a Billy Joel concert. And I saw Billy Joel back in the 80s when he was, at the height of his career. I guess the height of his career, the height of his album and CD sales, no, cassette tape sales. I think he came after 8-track tapes, but I'm pretty sure there were cassette tapes. And so hearing him was like hearing him 40 years ago. He sounded the same. He has a whole lot less hair, like none, but he sounded great. And it's sometimes hard when an artist is live to recapture what happens when it's done in the studio, but he did. So here's the way I was thinking of it. So here's the 1980s, and here is now. And those 2 points came together like there was no distance in between them. You know what I mean. That's what memories are good for, because they bring the past and the now together as though time did not exist, because time is a construct that we have. So now I'm going to ask you to stretch that a little bit. If this is the present and this is what is to come, can you see how those two things can become 1 point also? It's not a one-way thing. It's like everything is now. It's just that we don't have a record of the future like we have a record of the past. So we have the opportunity to be more creative in the present so that we are making a recording for the future. Okay? So I'm just kind of compressing time. You're with me, yes? Henry David Thoreau said a few years ago, he said that we have the opportunity to usher in a new world in which people of awareness will live in what he called the license of a higher order of being. The license of a higher order of being. Now, I like that idea. I like the idea, since we've been talking about the shift that we're engaged in right now, and all of our readings this morning have reinforced that. We have the opportunity now to see how we're going to become that higher order of being. And it's up to us to do that. I mean, who else is going to do that? There is not a they that's going to create a better future for us. It is they is us. And so that's what we're about right now, and we have the opportunity to be even more conscious about doing that. We cannot be unconscious anymore. We cannot live on autopilot anymore. We are examining everything we believe, everything we have done, everything that has brought us to this point in time, everything that is compressing to this one vital moment so that we can see who we want to be. Oh, listen, it's me. It's okay. Whoa. Talk about compressing those moments, man. She sounded pretty good, so that's nice. So I'm going to be talking to you today and using some quotes from people in the past, because those points are no less relevant now than they were back then. Teilhard de Chardin was born the same, golly, he died the same year I was born, 1955. So just do the math. And he said something that had I not known that he wrote these words prior to that moment, I would have thought that they were about now. And it was my summary for my talk today. There is now incontrovertible evidence that mankind, humankind, that's the other thing. I'm going to change the language a little bit because humankind sounds more human. Humankind has just entered upon the greatest period of change the world has ever known. If only he knew. And perhaps he did. You see? You see, that's why our important teachers are important to us, because their words are timeless. The ills from which we are suffering have had their seat in the very foundation of human thought. And we know this is true. But today, something is happening to the whole structure of human consciousness. A fresh kind of life is starting. In the face of such an upheaval, actually shaken by it, no one can remain indifferent. Swept along by the tide of affairs, what can we do to see clearly and act decisively? No matter what reactions we may have to current events, we ought first to reaffirm a robust faith in the destiny of humankind. This is a time in which we can actually have not very good faith in humankind. We've kind of seen the worst of us. At least I hope that we're seeing the worst of us. I don't want us to get any worse. So we have this chance, like Teilhard de Chardin said, like Thoreau said, to shape and to change and to shift. I was reminded, because a lot of what I've been studying is about the idea of prosperity and abundance, the idea of spirit as source of everything, that there is no limit to it, that it is available to us, and that we shape how God's abundance comes to us all the time. So I had a meeting this last week with the Ministerial Alliance here in Wimberley, and it was a small meeting. It was a minister from Cypress Creek Church. It was hosted at St. Stephen's Episcopal, so Father Kevin was there. First Baptist Church, and Jim Denham's church. Chapel of the Hills, thank you. And me. So it was me and the guys had a Ministerial Alliance meeting. And it was really, really encouraging to see that most of our conversation was about how we are taking care of people who need to be taken care of. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about the crisis breadbasket. We were talking about the Barnabas Connection. We were talking about what the Ministerial Alliance does to make sure that people are fed, that people have what they need to live their lives. And there wasn't any discussion about whether or not we ought to. It was a matter of fact. There was not discussion about whether it was the right or wrong thing to do based on your ideology or politics. It was just a matter of fact that we take care of people. It doesn't matter if they're in Louisiana, affected by the hurricane and Mercy Chefs going there, if it's people on the border who don't have clothes, food, kids don't have toys. It doesn't matter. There are people that need to be taken care of. Now, hopefully, and I'll share what Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said about supply in our world. His vision back between, between Thoreau and Teilhard de Chardin was Fillmore. So I'll read that to you in a few minutes, what he said about supply. But until we have all developed and nurtured and practiced a spirit of abundance for everyone, then we will continue to have people who need to be taken care of. We talked about this in class this week, that the poor will always be with us. That's what Jesus said. You will always have the poor with you. And it's been taken to mean that there will always be poor people. Another interpretation of that is, the origin of the word was actually beggar. The poor were the beggars. And it makes us question where in our lives we've had a beggar consciousness. Remember when your prayers changed from asking to believing? They went from pleading to affirming. Remember when you started making that shift, how differently it felt? And so if we've got beggar consciousness among us, then we will have a inconsistency in distribution of what the world has. So, what we do here in our churches here in Wimberley is take care of as many people as we can, and we do that because our churches are supported by the people who make up the churches. You see, we wouldn't be able to do that without you, without all of you. I was also reminded every time I think about this, when I was working with the licensing and ordination team for Unity Worldwide Ministries, we reviewed ministerial students as they were going through their education. And one of the women that I had the opportunity to review 4 times during her 2 years in ministerial school was a young woman from South Africa. She went back to South Africa. Oh my goodness, every time I think of Thandi, we ask her to pray in Zulu, which is her native language, to pray with us and to hear affirmative prayer spoken by someone in another language that we really have no ear for unless we've studied African languages was stunning, because the words didn't matter. The delivery, the intention behind was what mattered. So Thandi was going back to South Africa to take care of babies that were born with AIDS, because this was at the height of the epidemic in Africa. And there was a whole generation of people between babies and grandparents that were dying. So there was a ministry to the grandmothers that were taking care of babies where the parents had died. And there were babies being born with AIDS. And there were so many. There were so many. It's like, how in the world do you take care of that? How do you not just get overwhelmed with despair? And she said, well, my ministry is called One Baby at a Time. You see? We may be only one of us, but we have us. And we can take care of one person at a time, starting with ourselves in the consciousness of abundance, in the consciousness of goodwill, in the consciousness of plenty for all. And especially if we come from a position of comfort in our lives, that which we do to make sure that others have increases us as well. Not only in our feeling good about it, we don't do it just for feeling good, we do it because it is the thing to do. And as we continue to give of that goodwill, to give of our time, our talent, our treasure, as we do that, we are increased, all of us. And I know we talked about this in class this week, about the rising tide that lifts all boats. We are aware. We can't not be aware. And so it is important that we keep our consciousness sharp, connected, intentional, forgiving, loving, generous. I'm going to go way back to Plato. Plato said, and this kind of helps us deal with what's going on with humankind right now. Opinion is really the lowest form of human knowledge. I think I'll just say that again for the benefit of everyone. Opinion is really the lowest form of human knowledge. It requires no accountability and no understanding. So here's where your opinion goes. It just goes. It does nothing except give us some false sense of superiority. The highest form of knowledge is empathy, for it requires us to suspend our egos and live in another's world. It requires profound purpose, larger than the self. So once again, we're hearing the words of someone who lived a long time ago, telling us what we need to hear now. And once again, the timeline has gone to a single point. And it's important for us to have time as a construct. We have to have that. It allows us to move about the world, just as our egos allow us to have some kind of identity, although it is not all that we are. If you heard my Facebook Live broadcast on Thursday, the ego is important, but it's not as important as it thinks it is. The ego is just constantly trying to be relevant. And so if we're satisfied and content, our ego is going to go, wonder what trouble I could stir up today. I wonder who I can pick a fight with. I wonder what I can do to make myself feel valuable, important, relevant. So just notice that. Your ego is always going to do that. The ego is not something you have to squash. It's just something you're going to walk in companionship with, sometimes helping you along the way and sometimes biting your ankles. So next time your ego gets up in your face and starts having opinions, say, "Oh, you little ankle biter." That'll be quite enough for today. Thank you very much. We're going to try to live in that higher order of beings, okay? But that's who makes you you. It's what gives you motivation in the world. It's not all that you are, though. There is something greater and more eternal that you are. Yeah. Isn't that a relief? That we're not stuck being ourselves? I'm so relieved. Because, man, I can get all that, you know? And a feeling of self-importance, that kind of self-importance, doesn't allow us to do what we're here to do. It doesn't allow us to have space for that great eternal self. And so we are consistently doing this. I got to tell you, my friends, you've heard me say this before, there is not a time where we can go, whew, I'm done with that part of my spiritual life. Now it'll come back around. I promise you. I promise you it will. And it's okay. It's okay. We are about mastery. Mastery takes practice. Practice takes a desire to do so, a willingness to do so. And remember that being willing to grow doesn't have to be the same as wanting to. There are many days that I do not want to grow spiritually. Thank you very much. But am I willing? Am I willing to do that? You hear the difference. I'm going to throw this out just for fun while we're on the topic of abundance. And those of you that are listening at home, don't you dare shut me off. I'm watching you. One of the things that we looked at in this study that we've been doing, Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth, is about the difference between giving and tithing. Did you know that tithing was set up as a tax or a tribute? It started with Abraham and Melchizedek. Abraham was traveling across his lands using his resources there as he passed through, and he honored Melchizedek by giving a tithe. Jacob, after he had that rough night on the ground, which I still attribute to trying to sleep with a rock for a pillow, he wrestled with the angel all night. He said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. And the angel blessed him. And the next morning he woke up and he said, this is a holy place. God, I'm going to give you 10% of everything I have if you will take care of me and mine for the rest of our lives. So then there was the bargain tithe. I'll do this for you, God, if you'll do that for me. And then there was the temple tax. But in truth, tithing has been used as a tool. Oh man, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it. Here it comes. Tithing has been used as a tool to get people to give money in churches. Yep, I did it. But in reality, tithing is training wheels for giving consciousness. Tithing's the starting place to jumpstart the consciousness of giving. Everybody just breathe. Y'all stop breathing. I felt you stop breathing. So just breathe. This is, it's training wheels. It's to get us started. And it's not just so you'll give to the church. It's so you will be giving. You will be the act of giving in your life in every way. So we talked about that this week, and I know I've studied this book so many times, but the lesson about that never landed until this week. And I think it's so I could tell you, in case you don't read the book. But the thing that's important for us is that we continue to be giving people everywhere in our lives. I had a transaction with a person in the store the other day. She had on a beautiful necklace. She had on a hamsa, which is it's a hand that is honored by many faiths, that is a sign of welcome and a sign of blessing for another. And I commented on her Hamsa, how pretty it was. And I said, obviously you're a generous person. Her whole demeanor shifted. And in that moment, she and I were sisters of spirit. From that one moment. Now, I'm not saying go out there and try to make everybody in a store feel good when they wait on you. What I am saying is connect with other human beings in one way or another. It can be a glance, it can be a generous gesture, it can be paying for the guy behind you in the drive-through line. It can be saying thank you to somebody that's obviously working too hard and maybe not having a great day. It's taking food to someone who needs a meal. It's calling somebody up or sending a text saying, I'm thinking about you, I love you. It's using social media for good instead of, oh, gee, that thing about opinions. You know? Use it for good. If you don't have something nice to say, like my mom always told me. So I'm going to leave you with this sweet little thing that I saw, and probably if I saw it this week, y'all did too. The author is unknown. It's called The Train. I'll share Fillmore with you the next time. At birth, we boarded the train and met our parents, and we believe they will always travel by our side. As time goes by, other people will board the train, and they will be significant. For example, siblings, friends, children, and even the love of your life. However, at some station, our parents will step down from the train, leaving us on this journey alone. Others will step down over time and leave a permanent vacuum. Some, however, will go unnoticed that we don't realize they vacated their seats. This train ride will be full of joy, sorrow, fantasy, expectations, hellos, goodbyes, and farewells. Success consists of having a good relationship with all passengers, requiring that we give the best of ourselves. The mystery to everyone is we do not know at which station we ourselves will step down. So we must live in the best way, love, forgive, and offer the best of who we are. It is important to do this because when the time comes for us to step down and leave our seat empty, we should leave behind beautiful memories for those who will continue to travel on the train of life. I wish you all a joyful journey. And so with that, beloved, let's move into a time of meditation in which we just take a gentle moment, a gentle, non-judgmental, non-opinionated moment to look inside ourselves and see if there's anything that is standing in the way of our being a good passenger on the train ride. Let's take a moment to see if there's any part of our hearts that is hardened or casts judgment upon others. Let's see for a moment what is calling to you to be healed in your life. It may be as recent as a difficult moment yesterday. Or it may be something that we've carried throughout our lifetime. And now is the time to ask yourself if you are limiting God's all-knowing, omniscient ability to heal everything, to provide everything. Love, companionship, comfort, enough to give away to others. So as you rest in the spirit of light and the spirit of truth, let these moments be gentle and sweet. And do whatever it takes to imagine yourself as one of those higher order of beings, not superior over others, but the bearers of light and truth into the world that we are creating right now. Beloved, know that even if we never see the fruition of the ideal in our lives, we will, at this very moment, have contributed to the goodness of all humanity right now. So in this gentle moment, cast your net wide to bless all beings everywhere. And yes, even the ones you don't like, especially them. For in so doing, you are healed yet again. Beloved, if you ever have difficulty with these moments of blessing, of giving of yourself, just remember that at the heart of you is everything that is needed. If you have difficulty doing this, remember to give thanks for all the small things, for all the sweet things. Give thanks for everything that has brought you to this moment. And I ask you, my friends, I'm opening my eyes now to connect with our audience elsewhere. From those that have written to me and talked to me and said, we are the camera, thank you for being with us. And so I ask you to bless all the people that are beyond this room, that are one with us in spirit, just as you bless all the people around the world. Beloved, I wish you a joyful journey, now and always. And so it is, and so it is. Amen. That was a beautiful accompaniment. Thank you. Thank you. And now, with our grateful hearts, we prepared the field, haven't we? We practice our prosperity consciousness as we circulate our good. Unity of Wimberley is a tithing church, as you heard about earlier. We spread the prosperity we receive, an affirmation of our oneness with the divine flow. In July, with love and gratitude, we sent a portion of our good to the Sunrise Homeless Navigation Center in South Austin. This organization is a fully integrated homeless day resource center, providing humanitarian aid along with housing navigation, mental health care, food assistance, drug and alcohol treatment referrals, and much more. And we were most pleased to be able to support that organization. We thank you for the gifts that you have sent, and we affirm the gifts that you are giving now. We know that Spirit is working through us to supply all that is needed for our community and beyond. So let's take a moment to bring this truth into our hearts as we prepare our offerings and as the ushers come forward now. As a reminder, here are some of the ways that you can share your gifts with Unity of Wimberley. Text GIVE to the number on the screen. Click the donate button on our website. Mail a check to 455 White Wings Road, Wimberley, Texas 78676. Tap Give on our church app. And if you use Venmo, you can search for Unity of Wimberley and give in that way. And now let us offer this affirmation of abundance. Together, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Ron. And now with full hearts, let us bless these gifts. We bless these gifts and the givers with our love and gratitude. And now as we move toward the end of our service, we'd like to take this moment to share a few things. But before we do that, we have an announcement from our board nomination committee leader, Bruce Kingsley. Bruce, come on up.
Good morning. Good morning. It is still morning, okay. It is that time of year when we need to nominate church members to serve on the board of directors, board of trustees. There are 2 vacancies on the upcoming board. If you are called to serve Unity of Wimberley in that way and would be interested in serving on the board, just send an email to nominations@unityofwimberley.com and you'll get a nomination packet. It includes a letter with a link to the bylaws, a candidate questionnaire, ethics for you to sign, a for your consideration document that discusses what's involved in being on the board, and a permission for a background check. The deadline for completing and returning the application is Sunday, November 21st. The nominating committee will review the applicants and announce the candidates Sunday, December 19th. The election will be at the annual meeting, January 23rd, and the board members elected will then start serving immediately. If you want to know what it's like to serve on the board, ask one of the existing members. Thank you.
Join us next Sunday, October 31st, for a very beloved guest speaker, Margie Barlow, as she shares her talk, Life in the Time of COVID-19. There we go. This Wednesday night Zoom class finishes up our book study of Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. Even if you've not come, our wrap-up is going to be great, so please join us. For November's Wednesday night class, we're going to collectively practice conscious gratitude with the Start With Gratitude journal that we have used in the past, and a short weekly Zoom check-in from 6:30 to 7. So what we invite you to do is to get a copy of the book, and you can contact Leah if you need a copy, or you can order on Amazon. What we're going to do is get as many people as we can to engage in the practice of gratitude. And then if you care to, on Wednesday nights in November, there will be a Zoom link to check in anytime between 6:30 and 7 to share your gratitude with others. So this will be very easy. You're not sitting through a class. You're just coming to check in and say, I'm grateful for these things, and to have someone witness your gratitude, which magnifies it. So consider doing that. This is a very easy gratitude journal. Remember, if you order it from Amazon, that Unity of Wimberley is on a Smile account. So like many organizations, your purchase benefits the church. Beginning Sunday, November 7th, Unity of Wimberley will no longer be requiring vaccination documents or negative test results. We do ask that you mask. And right now, we're having some shifting in personnel with our youth and family ministries. So right now, as it stands, for the month of November, we will still have Zoom classes only for children. Now, let me say that a different way. The children will be served by Zoom class only, okay? If you're an adult, you can attend the Zoom class. It's fine. We've had people do that as the kids have been studying various faith traditions from Hinduism to Native American. So we will have our kids back in the room, hopefully in December, when we get a few things set and some more volunteers in our youth department. So are you clear about the first Sunday in November? No vaccination requirement, no test result. We do ask that you mask. Please tune in to Facebook Live every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. as Reverend Kidd and I share readings, meditations, and affirmations. You can drop off your Feed My People donations as we move into winter now in the front foyer, or you can send monetary donations directly to the Crisis Breadbasket at P.O. Box 1721, Wimberley, Texas, 78676. As a reminder, if you have any questions, concerns, or prayer requests, you can email Kit and me at minister@unityofwimberley.com and asl@unityofwimberley.com. You can also email Leah if you would like to schedule a time to meet with me in person. She can be reached at business@unityofwimberley.com. After the service today, our prayer chaplain, Jan, will be available after the service to pray with you. You can fill out a blue prayer request sheet and place it in the prayer box located on the Fireside Room buffet. We will pray with you for 30 days, and then that request will go on to Silent Unity, where those prayer requests will be prayed over for another 30 days. Yellow gratitude sheets for our gratitude jar are also on the Fireside Room buffet. If this is your first visit with us, or if your contact information has changed, please fill out a blue card in the foyer this time, so that we can connect with you, get you on the email list if you want to be on the email list for our newsletter, so that we have your contact information correct. I started to say, are there any questions? Man, it's been a long time since I was in a classroom, but it never goes away, does it? So So now, why don't we stand together and let's pray together our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. Good to see you today, my friends.
I release and let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. And no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.